Dumelang amogela mo Daily Thetha on SABC1. Nakalina ke Tumelo. Sekolo sa mathomo sa Mothotoane. Welcome to the show. Let's about we are the youth and we're taking charge. And we're taking charge in an industry some may think hey, it's like system industry, especially because we live in such a technologically, driven era. The publishing industry. We're focusing on young authors, specifically young black authors. What challenges do they face and how do they overcome those challenges in making sure that we do have a reading culture in South Africa?
Kini Shandu sikumuyela kwi-Daily Thetha SABC1 njengoba sishilo Tumi. Namhlanje sikhuluma about ama-authors owethu akhona, especially abantu abamnyama, ukuthi isikhathi sabo kubuya ngathi sihamba kuba nzima, kufuna ukubuka ama-challenges ababhekana nabo kuwona, nanokuthi as abantu abamnyama do you even buy these books. We'll find ukuthi umuntu uneyincwadi eziwu-7, 8 but not a millionaire. I don't understand kuhamba kanjani ke lokho. Yona into sosiyibheka leyo ukuthi do blacks read? If you don't, why? As well, you can also find us on Facebook, daily_Thetha, and on Twitter as well at daily_Thetha. Or give us a call on 011 339-1315. There's a number 67 sound.
Okay, we're focusing on particularly young black authors. They're trying to ensure we do have a reading culture. But if you remember, there was a story that happened Soweto Bolongore exclusive books because the book had kiwi. But also there's that thing a discussion the narrative publishers sarona, especially because most of them are white owned. Is it because about more black authors, more black books? Is it because the narrative there are also challenges there, so therefore leading to more authors being self-published? Here's some of the things that we want to dissect into. Make sure you interact later now on social media, #Daily Thetha, so we know that you are part of the conversation. And we also know as an aspiring author, a publisher, especially a black publisher or author, what are some of the challenges they're going through and what needs to be done to overcome them?
You'll find abantu abaningi better na I have a book sengiqedile manuscript yakhona but I don't know where to put it. Should I go self-publishing? Is it easy now? Namhlanje we have author uNonhlahla Mnisi sikumukele kwi-Daily Thetha mama.
Ngiyabonga.
Unjani ma?
Ngikhona njani?
Sikhona usubhala incwadi eziwu-7. Usithola phi isikhathi sokubhala all these books? Because you are sebenza, I believe.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
So I think isikhathi uyasenza for into ithandayo.
Yeah.
I remember many years ago, Mami Von Khame asked me a question. She used to actually be with the SABC to say, Uguti, what would you do even if you're not getting paid for it? And for me, the answer yami was Uguti, ukubhala nokukhuluma ngoba ngithanda konke. So yeah, you make time for things that you love. You translate passion into paper. That's what happened here.
Somebody why writing? Because I think we had a show Kini we're looking at your passion versus the opportunities that are there in the industry. And we live in a country motivating for design students, or we need more scientists and more mathematicians and more educators. When you opted on being an author as part of your journey, why publishing, especially with the challenges that you go through as an author?
So I think when you live in a time wherein you feel that you've got content or you feel that there are certain things that are not coming across or not getting the airtime as wafunayo, you then try and find means of okay, in all the mediums that we have in the entertainment industry, which one can I look into? Unfortunately, book publishing, we live in a time and in a country wherein we've got book buyers but not book readers. People will buy your book but support nani, but we need to get to a point wherein we are saying, you're not going to buy a book because you support Umuntu, but you're buying incwadi because there is content. So that's why it's easier for people to actually buy but not read at the same. There's a thin line between people having these things, and then not reading and not doing anything about them.
Is it perhaps maybe attention span, exactly. Kini? Because we're talking, or we live in an era more 140 characters. It's sometimes all we consume by. So home putsaka 240 characters, I know it's a lot. Home putsaka a book, maybe it's a lot. Is it that the problem?
So reality says the moment I pick up a book, within the 3 seconds, I need to be hooked. If I'm not hooked, I'll put it aside. So I think we have a problem wherein people take long to get to the point, and that's why then uzoporeka ma speed. If you look at, I was going through this morning the list of authors that are best selling in this day and time, you'd find very few blacks. And if you look at the list of African authors in SA that are selling, you find Uguti, content that they've written about, it's mostly apartheid.
Right.
It's like, okay, so a beautiful place to die. The late Nadine Goma wrote a book on daughters beggar. So you'll literally be like, okay, so what is the content that people in this day and age are writing that is actually selling? That in market can be able to consume it in a way.
And relate to.
And in terms of years, when we went in Gucci, not take a publisher, South Africa, and then publisher.
Was there a pun intended?
Yeah. So I want to find out, Gucci, is the South African market willing to support or read, or South Africa is bad compared to UK?
So here are the two things. Yeah. So, for instance, this is the book I've published in the UK, which was book 1. Yeah. It's a book of motivational poems, which I wrote when I was 21 years. Now, my very first book that I wrote, I had to go through the normal traditional publishing system, because what happens is those are the people who are able to quickly go through your material and the content and tell you, Guti Lalel, go work on this, go work on that. Whereas self-publishing, many a times people get away with murder. Because umuntu uzofundi line and you're like, line. No, I've heard this somewhere. Can you tell Uguti? No, it's actually Zig Ziglar's line. You know, and people are stealing. So we've got. So we need to also come back to ourselves and saying, Guti, as authors, yes, we complain about people not buying immaterial, but also what is it that are we putting out in the market? Yeah. People are insulting our clients in a manner, Guti, you'll write something and get away with it because you think your readers are not informed. And we live in times wherein our readers are actually very intelligent beyond us. Yes. That's why it will take them a few minutes on a plane to be like, okay, next on to the next one, type of a thing. So that's why your polio, you know, he's selling because you are hooked within the next 3 seconds. Like, you know, what is it that I'm, you know, so that's what needs to happen into a book. I mean, whether it's fiction or non-fiction. I mean, I currently came across a book, Boundaries, given by a friend, Upem. You know, I read this book, few pages, and I was already hooked because what happens is you find yourself in the story. You are able to relate. And because our journeys might be different, but our experiences are unique. Somehow.
That is so true. Yeah, and I think an interesting fact Ilunkhor would like to share with you, Thetha is turning 28, and she's written more than 8 books. And the joke is on the number 8 because she's
gonna kill Amanda and Pam. And
don't kill me.
I'm gonna kill you.
She's written 7 books. Of course, her books, they reflect also on your personal journey. But you've also ghostwritten many a times. You've written articles as well. The Mail and Guardian being one of the newspapers you've written for. But how do you compare South African publishers with UK publishers in your very, very short time as an author? Because from 21 to 27, it's really short. It's an achievement.
Is it short?
It is very short.
It's very short, Mzansi. Like people, it takes years. And you were saying, it only takes you not more than 7 days to finish Buka. Yeah. What is the difference between UK publishers, let's say SA publishers? How compare?
So there's quite a lot of things. So for instance, I'll make an example with a book I published in the US. You find that they will literally watermark every page. So this is Petrich. They're like, this is our content. You better not do nothing, so to say. So gunama restrictions in and around, but also we need to be cognizant of the fact that there are so many middlemen in the value chain of publishing. There's there's the publisher, right? Then there's a distributor. I'll make an example, guys. This book is selling exclusive books for 150. I get 32 rands as I give, right? So this book is selling for 200 rands. I get 57 rands per copy. So this is the reality that we live in. So abantu bayeke canga ukuthi incwadi izokwenza ube rich overnight.
Can't you know?
No. Yeah, no. Especially because everyone must get ipie yakhe, piece.
Okay. Sifunda okuningi la as well. Nanokuthi umuntu obhale incwadi in 7 days. How can you do that?
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out more about this, as we go.
And when we come back, we have more authors. We'll introduce, of course, ourselves and you too, and find out how do they overcome those challenges they face as self-published authors in South Africa. We'll be right back.
My name is Kulfalo Mainita. I am an author and I also run a catering business. My first book was published when I was 26 years. I started writing when I was 16, you know, heartbreaks and stuff like that. So I wanted to have an outlet. So na outlet I was just writing poems, love letters that I never did send. The process of writing a book and getting it published is a long one. I'm not gonna lie to anyone and say it's easy. You just wake up one day and then we're gonna turn it into a book. No, my journey was that my book, I sent it to one publisher by Rana Barno, how I make sense. I was like, no, I'm not gonna write anymore. Or maybe it's not my calling to write. And I send Muchachi books. And then Muchachi books, within like 2 weeks, they're like, hey, we're interested in your publisher book. I was like, yeah, okay. I was like, oh, yeah, all right. I was like, okay, Mara, we're gonna fix it and do 1, 2, 3, working edited or monology. So that's why I say it's a long journey. You can't say expect to when I want to book how and then when now this is what you see. You can do okay, fine. Every you change it as comfortable as you wanted. I had no knowledge of publishing and writing. Now what I did was everything. Every book again, romance, mystery, tragedy, drama, everything. I taught myself how to write. In order for people to support local authors, there has to be economic growth. We can't expect to budget their last cents. I hope no, I'm buying this book. So the support is there, Mara. It's not enough to sustain an author. I am busy with another one. So hopefully by next year it will be out. This next book, I want to be involved in everything, from the editing to the publishing to the marketing, because sometimes the local authors bring the book and then we sit down and we're like, okay, people are gonna buy. If people don't know about you, about guy dealing, they're not gonna buy your book. But then if you buy involved, how by market, we shall go along with everything, then people are gonna know about you, and then eventually you grow as an author. So I'm gonna be involved in everything.
Usahleli nathi kwi-Daily Thetha on SABC1, hashtag Be New with One. We're talking all things authors, especially abamnyama as well. Ukuthi izinto abazibhalayo ziyasi-interest and babhala ngezinto esikwazi ukuthi siyifunde yini, because isikhathi esiningi sikhala ukuthi abaye asiyithenge incwadi. Kanti lezo ncwadi kumele siyithenge just because they are black or because i-content yakhona ababhala ngayo yasi-interesta kakhulu. But speaking about that, we were talking to an 8-year-old author.
I feel underachieved. What am I doing with my life? No.
I still can't believe it as well. Michelle, welcome to Daily Thetha on SABC1. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for welcoming me.
Michelle, can I just have your hair before we talk about books? Let's swap.
No.
You don't want to swap. You don't want to swap hair with me, just for today.
Maybe books. Maybe you can swap.
A book? Not even your book.
Okay.
No, this is an author. No, definitely she's an author.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Let's start with you. You started like writing a book at the age of 8. Why? Is it because what you were reading when you were bored? What made you decide to write a book?
What made me inspired to write this book is that adults always write children's books.
Oh.
But I say children should also write children's books, because at their board time, they're just busy on devices.
Yeah.
But I say no, on their spare time, they should start writing books.
Defeated.
I think even if we close the show, we got the
like
essence of the episode today. Yeah. But Michelle, what do you write about? What interesting stories do you tell us in your book?
This book is about a little girl called Titi, and she conquers her fear of the big waves, which she loves, by her uncle and her family helping her to believe in herself.
Wow. So Titi, who's Titi? Is it you? Are you writing about yourself?
Titi is based on me when I had a seaside place at a beach, and I saw the big waves. And then I wondered where these big waves were coming from. So then I went in with my father. Then when the second wave was still coming, I said to my father, why are the people looking that side? And then he said, because they're waiting for the big wave to come, because the direction is that way. And then I said, you've given me a great idea. I'll write my first book called Waiting for the Waves.
Oh, Michelle. I need to talk to Michelle's mom. Mom, first, I think I need your genes. I don't have a child, but I'm trying to talk to you. So when I do have a child, it needs to be a Michelle, you know, type. But Mom Lolo, thank you so much.
Hallelujah to that.
Hallelujah. You're so blessed. And I think Michelle is really a good example, such an inspiring example to other kids. Your support as a parent, how important was it? And when did you spot that there was something special in her and in her interest to writing books?
First of all, I would like to correct. Michelle didn't write the book at the age of 8. She wrote 2 books at the age of 6.
Wow.
That Waiting for the Waves.
Wow.
Really? The Waiting for the Waves that is published, and the little girl who believe in herself that is still sitting there by the one side cupboard. We are still waiting. Actually, I can say she persuades us to do it because I was not interested. I can't lie. I always say that, So when she came with the Waiting for the Waves, she said, Mommy, I've finished my first book. I said, were you writing? No idea that she was writing. She said she wanted to make it like a surprise, but the siblings know that she was writing. So when she came, I was like, anyway, I put it aside. Let me say black culture. Anyway, but she came again with the second one. After, I think it's 6 weeks or 8 weeks. Then I still keep it. I said, maybe this kid, they are just busy. Because of her age, I didn't believe that she can. Yes, you understand. Then she came with the third one. Then she said to me that, because I called her dad, the dad travel a lot overseas. So I told her dad, the dad said, you know, kids, they are busy. So when she came with the third one, after 3 weeks again, she said, you know what? I said, no. It's like you people don't take me seriously, so I will stop writing because I'm wasting my time. Wow. It touched me. Then I was like, really? Then I went back. I said, okay, where is the Facebook that you were writing? Let me go across it. Then that is the time I even look at the story. It was very interesting. I was like, okay. Many people are scared, even adults. So if she can at least get away with her fear, so should I? And it also gave me encourage. I can't lie, she inspired me as well because she knows that I always scared.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that is how we came about to say no. This is the first time, and it's encouraging because she said she wants people out there to follow their dream, to build their talent, because people get talent, but they sit with it because they don't have encouragement.
It's amazing for a young child to think that. Wow.
So that is the time we wake up.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I believe also on the line we do have Thetha Mthetho, who's the author as well. Thetha, welcome to Daily Thetha on SABC 1.
Thank you so much. How are you?
I was cool, Mama. We are so good. I just want to. We're talking about authors, especially black authors. How difficult is it to be an author, especially in South Africa, esikhathini samanje siphila kusona?
I'd say, in my own opinion, and what I've observed is very, very tough, more especially when you are a self-published author, because you have to do everything out of your pocket. Marketing costs money, publishing costs money. Everything is about money, and you find out that you are also at a starting point. So I would say, and the market there, to reach up to the market, you need to have finance, you need to have resources. And if you don't have such, then it becomes a terrible problem.
Let me just talk about your first book. How much did it cost you to everything, like publishing, marketing, and PR, all those things? How much did it cost you?
Well, I'm still marketing, so it costs me like every day, but to get it published, it cost me like about 15,000 rand. That includes editing, because I was also negotiating with the people to say I'm unemployed and I just sold my laptop so that I can be able to publish the book, and I sold some of my stuff so that I can invest on my book. So it was like about 15,000 rand only publishing, no marketing involved, no distributing involved, just the cover page just combining the book.
All right.
Okay, September, because of his cut, so we are going as well just to find out more. It's like then began as the publishers and especially Abantu Bamnyama. Now, we want to find out Abantu as well. Are they buying books, especially Abantu Bamnyama, or they rather prefer, instead of spending like 200 rand on a book, I would rather have a DVD, which is $100 or 150. We're going to be back when a school now is September.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to tell you on SABC 1, hashtag be new with one. See you after this. Sabugeli Daily Thetha on SABC 1, hashtag be new with one, scream about all things authors today, especially abantu abamnyama as well. So I want to find out exactly what at home, if ngomunye abantu abathi bona bazifundi incwadi, yindaba ungazifundi, mhlawumbe nereason yakho ungasitshela yona. Find us on Facebook, daily_Thetha, or find us on Twitter at daily_Thetha, or fonele ku 0113391315. Yolanta sikhuluma namhlanje Tumelo.
Okay, Niti, we're also joined by the authors and publishers. They're contributing towards the publishing industry. We'll make sure we're a reading nation. So, of course, we're joined by Vugulu Sizwe Mapindani, an author of Message to a Black Man in Africa.
Oh, yes.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I know. I'm interested in that one. Now that God might. Spoke about if the first 3 seconds I'm not hooked. I'm definitely hooked. We're also joined by Nkate Komasing. Of course, you're the owner of Nsuku Publishing Company. Thank you so much for your time. I think I'm going to ask the same question. We read so much constantly. The publishing industry, the magazine industry, people don't read. People's attention span and reading span or concentration span is very limited. But you still believe in so much who invest in archive, storytelling, and also sort of like our history in South Africa. Why nearly important for it?
Okay, first of all, as a publisher, as a black publisher, to be specific, first you have to understand that the majority of the people is black people.
Right.
Now, as publishers, what I've realized, the reason why I publish, there's censorship. And if there's censorship, there's rejection. And looking in the majority, these are black people. Most books that are being written are not written by black authors, the black voice expressing themselves, unless it's conventionalism. Now, you see the free flow of ideas is being censored. So when you have to publish, you need to understand that as black people, we need a market share in information because the person who controls the information control the mind control system and manipulation. So the reason why black people don't read is not necessarily that black people don't read. If I stay in a shack, I need somebody to address my condition. I can't be in a shack and be reading about Romeo and Juliet in some sea somewhere. You see, that is being, if you say black people don't read, I think that is being irrational. Metaphysically, we need to understand the physical, psychological, and mental demands for black people who come from a space whereby information was used to miseducate, dehumanize, and indoctrinate them. So the kind of content that I look at is content that can never be published by a commercial publisher.
Why is it published? Interesting point over like why is it published? Why that flow of information is rejected?
Because, I mean, you see racism. Racism, we usually look at racism differently. Racism is not individual acts of prejudice and discrimination. Racism is systematic. Now, it is insidious. So if you see censorship, the flow of ideas for black dehumanization, I mean, having to challenge such kind of topics such as white supremacy, we are living in a space whereby publishers here are commercial publishers. And commercial publishers is white-owned. So the mandate is not incidental. If you see black authors being censored for certain topics, it's not incidental. It's a system that have already been set up that this should be said. This can never be said. You can never say there's the black inferiority complex. You can't say there's white supremacy. You need to say 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why you see authors in most cases end up writing conventionally. Say the same thing that have been said, but in a different form.
Okay, let's come to you, Nkateka, as well. We're now go from Nsuku Publishing. You guys, you are the guys who actually are here for some guys or my authors. Do you think Ingwant is accessible to abantu abamnyama? Because you'll find this exclusive book somewhere in town. Are we doing enough to make sure that ziyafika emalokishini, ziyafika in schools as well, making sure that siyakwazi ukuthola access to those books?
I think it depends on what kind of book it is, because there are some books that you will find everywhere, and those will be where, let's say, a certain celebrity has written a book and it's been marketed on TV and everyone knows about it. You'll find it in every bookshop. So if I, for example, have written a book and I want to get it out there, it's a lot more difficult. With me, for example, I've been on both sides, being an author and being a publisher at the same time. I started out in 2015, I wrote my first book, The Sin in My Blackness. And when I wrote this book, it's very difficult. It's not the kind of thing that your traditional publishers like your Penguin Books will want to look at. They'll read it, they'll send you a rejection letter. But it's something you have to believe in your work.
Rejected based on what, actually?
Based on the fact that it won't appeal to the majority, and also the fact that there's a certain market that big publishers are appealing to. And there are certain topics that are taboo. Topics like racism, Pan-Africanism, such topics are taboo, and those are the kind of topics that I addressed in my book. So getting it out there, I felt that my story needs to be told, so I decided to go the self-publishing route. And with the company, so many people were coming to me afterwards and saying, how do you get this done? Because so much information is hidden. For example, getting an ISBN, an International Standard Book Number, it's free from the National Library. But there are people who are actually charging people to get ISBNs. Someone will come to you and say, I actually paid 1,000 Rand to get an ISBN. All you have to do is contact the National Library, you get an ISBN, you have your title, the title of your book ready. So what I do through Nsuku Publishing Consultancy is that I facilitate that process. I get you an ISBN, and then I get the ISBN encoded onto a barcode for you. And then we do cover design as well. The illustrator in the firm does the cover design. And then we do editing and proofreading. So we take your manuscript and we facilitate the whole process from you helping you get it together and then getting it out there and then marketing as well. There's a bookshop in Johannesburg called Bridge Books that stocks the books that I've written and published as well.
I also want to touch on something we heard about earlier on about the pricing of the book, and I want to understand why. If a book irekiswa ka mo shopong for 200, 300, why 30-something Rand or 50-something Rand itlako wena as the author? I mean, mathematically, or maybe because I'm not an author and I don't understand these things, maybe upatela rente, go bookshop, and then the other costs I can save. But I'm just thinking, why is it that there's only a small portion as an author?
I think if you're an author who goes through a publisher, let me say they usually pay authors 14-15%. I pay 20%, which is different. Now you find that the retailer is taking 50%. And now there's printing costs involved. Now you find out that the publisher also need their share. So if you look at it from a hypocritical point of view, you'll say, okay, well, publishers are washing out authors. But at the end of the day, the retail system is actually in charge of the pricing. Because I can say my book is 100 Rand, but if I calculate printing costs and plus minus 55% or 70%, depending on which retailer, you find that I'm ripped off. So you end up having to say, okay, well, the book is 380 based on how much will the printing cost be, and then what do I benefit at the end of the day.
And not only distribution costs as well, and then all those things. Sure, it's a lot.
About the authors, especially about Mnyama Linings in Africa, but my challenges about Pegana now. Are we even supporting them? I see something from Kazi Wanda Kumede as well. No, they are not supported enough, yet they are so talented, and some publishing companies steal their work. It's really tough out there. Ubugeli Thetha on SABC 1. Hashtag be new with one. Say Abuya foot after this.
All right, welcome back to Daily Thetha gona mo gae mo SABC 1 le go nle re bolela le di authors and re bolela ka taba ya gore go tlhagaeng in the publishing industry. There's so many challenges telling gore motlhomongwe we weren't aware of rena as the consumers. Re bona congratulations, you published a book, and it took so much for motho gore a fitlhe mo a leng gona. Even seeing some self-published authors selling from the boot of their cars, ba ba rekisha mo Facebook, ba na le batho di agents nyana ba rekisa in certain areas of the country to assist them and also to get word out, because when you go cut down the system, but we still have our case and we're still talking about tabaya di buka and publishing, and also supporting. How important is it for people to support your work, or is it not about support, as Nonhlanhla said? It's about the content. It has to be about the subject matter, and not about we're excited, hype, let's just support you.
I think you need to have both aspects. you need to support and at the same time look at the content. You have to have strong content that people can relate to. You must write about things that, like what he was saying earlier on, that if your story is not relatable to me, then why would I read it? Right. Why would I go out and buy your book if it doesn't speak to what I'm experiencing on a daily basis? Yeah. So more than just supporting someone for the sake of, it's such an achievement to publish, you also have to look at the fact that, what are you writing about? What stories are you telling? I always say to the people around me that when I'm gone, my books will remain, and I want to be able to be proud of what I've left behind. Yeah. The kind of story that I told, because a lot of what I wrote about in my first book was personal experience, things that I went through growing up, and I want better for my children, and I want them to see what I went through. So I think, as much as it's important to support for the sake of supporting, it's also important to interrogate, what are you writing about? Who are you writing to? When you're opening a business, you have to look at your target market. And being an author, you're already starting a business. You are the business. You are a brand. So if I say, this is who I'm targeting, you must be writing material that speaks to those people.
And Linda, in music industry, you find that artists, yes, they are talented, it's a passion, but they make money out of it. Are you guys making money out of books? Are you really, can I just stop everything and just be an author and make money out of that? Is it possible?
I think it's a complex question, because first of all, you have, there's two different people. There's somebody who will say, look, it looks like authors are doing good. It's a credential. I want to be an author. Now you write fiddles for the sake of doing it, and you will not end up anywhere. But now if you make an impact, content-wise, qualitative, you have quality content, you speak to the people, you're changing lives, because you become an author because you're in an authoritative space to speak about a particular subject. So if you're influencing people's life positively, of course you'll make a lot of money. Let's talk about independent publishing. People think if it's independent, then that means there's no business. But you have got 50 Shades of Grey. The book sold millions, maybe even billions now.
Is it because of the content?
It's content. At first, that was a self-published book. Publisher says, we don't want this, you're unknown and all that. But because of the quality of the content and the influence in which the person was bringing in, and then the book was a bestseller.
Interesting.
Cool stuff. And we also taking your calls on 011-339-1315. I believe we have a caller. Mangoba.
Thank you. How are you, sir? I would like to ask you a question to the publisher there in the studio. Like, when you publish a book and you are published as an author, and now you want to change the publications company, who does the copyright belong to, the publications or to the author?
Interesting question. All right.
That's for you, Thetha.
Your work belongs to you. So whatever you've written is yours. But everything that we do from then onwards, for example, getting you a cover design, getting you everything that we've done from taking your manuscript forward, that's our work. So you can take your manuscript in its original form and take it to another company, and then they'll work on it. Because editing is a very extensive process. So if we then take our work and say, okay, you can take it as it is and move on with it, we're losing out.
Okay, alrighty then. Thank you, Mangoba, for pushing out. Are you going to be saying? Okay. Hello, okay. Good day. Erin putso comment ya gago. Una le putso comment about topic e le gono?
What's the topic?
Nthabiseng. How mamela? How mamela? Oh, mara I can just do phone no check out le blomile le shapo. Mara Nthabiseng.
I say abuya kwena usocabangile ka. Umsuyibheke kahle topic no.
All right, maybe I also itshware ne. A re tsene ka mo yona gape then maybe go tla itshware then re tlo ya mo wena. So let's also talk about taba ya gore I personally feel gore the authors have a responsibility in recording our history. I just feel I mean, I remember Kini a show more, and one of our guests nablela gore even in South Africa, curriculum, we don't study enough about history of South Africa. Re thoma ka the Victorian era, we study about Shakespeare, we study so much about Hitler, but there isn't enough rich content about Rena, or even bana at primary school level, bagay tuta kayona, bana at high school level, even varsity level, bagay tuta kayona.
Usho Leon to me, I was shocked reading Isowete and Guti Kalushi, the movie is not doing well, and Sabe Richisile Choma cinemas, because it's come about Umlando way to as I don't know whether when you translate that from movie to books, is it the same thing where we're like, we don't care much about our own history?
In terms of that, you see information in all parts of slavery, indoctrination, and everything. You convince people that they are in this status. And if you're writing there, you even write books. Systematically, apartheid was actually to convince you that you are inferior. Now, if we write your history, that was to justify colonialism. So if you justify colonialism, we found you dancing with monkeys, and therefore, even if we enslaved you, look at you, you're wearing clothes for which is wrong. If we follow, our black people have played a great part in civilization. We have always where they were kings and queens. Of course, we do have hunters and gatherers. Now, the problem with black people write a lot. Right now, I opened my publishing company last year in March. I have published 12 books already. Another book is The Condition of the Black Man, which is a very extensive book. Another one, It Must Fall by Lindy Sorboy. She's a Khoisan black woman who have experienced racism in South Africa today. Now, the problem is who controls the information. And will you, what right contemplates into what actually they are taking in, unless you receive a lot of rejection. That's why my duty is to uplift and promote the uncensored black voice, because truth is censored.
And then for when we often hear to be a New York best time seller, like our Trevor Noah, or X amount of books. In South Africa, a bestseller, how many copies of a book?
It depends. It depends on the distribution channel. So, for example, if you're under exclusive books, then with their channel, the number of books that are sold there, if it reaches bestseller status, then they let you know, and then every copy that's printed after that will have it written that it's a bestseller. So it depends on the channel that you're using for distribution. So I would say a book is a bestseller, perhaps if we printed 1,000, right, and then they're all sold out, and then we have additional orders coming in. So it all depends. We are a smaller company, a smaller distribution channel. So I would say it's dependent on who's distributing the book.
Authors I present my work. The next thing and whatever title and everything. Have you seen that happening, or it's just people talking?
Not only that, also with plagiarism, where someone will submit a manuscript to me, and when my editor runs a plagiarism check on it, 80% of that is not the person's work. So more than just people, publishers taking people's work as their own, it's also people taking other people's work, presenting it as their own and saying, hey, I wrote this. So we have a responsibility as publishers to look at what we're publishing and see, is this person's original work? So you go onto programs like Turn It In, where they check for plagiarism, they check where the work comes from. And now with publishers stealing work, you have to have a very open line of communication. You have to say, okay, here's a contract, and it stipulates that this work is yours. So never sign a contract if the person hasn't said that your work is yours.
Sabugeli Daily Thetha on SABC 1, hashtag Be New with One. Coming up, also, you're going to be talking to Michelle as well. We're talking about 1,000 good bestseller, or good if also I figure good 1,000 copies, and then good Baliak Uenzani, after selling our books like Daily Thetha on SABC 1 day.
Welcome back, Liberty Daily Thetha. We've reached the end almost of our show le lead authors and in the publishing industry. And if you're an aspiring author, I think this is the best time just to take down the boxes over some of your expectations, and maybe nearly a myth if this is how it works, and one of the reality behind publishing a book in South Africa. But for comments 011 339 1315, and we do have a caller on the line.
Hello.
Hello, guy.
I'm well, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. Mfusi, una comment or question ka topic
Yeah, I have a question.
What's the question, dear?
Okay, I mean, I know you're talking about written stuff. However, my question is, I mean, there's a lot of self-publishing, and also there's a lot of, publishing by a publishing company.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what I want to know is, I mean, which one is better? I know a lot of people have said self-publishing is better. But what I found out sometimes, self-publishing is sometimes you really have the money, and also most of the books of self-publishers that are going further in terms of saving stuff, usually people that are already, who have the public figure.
Yeah.
So I just want to know which one is best.
Which one is the best deal? Yeah.
Or is self-publishing?
All right. I think that's a very key question.
They're different. With self-publishing, you have more control. You have more control of where your books are accessible and also what you get out of it. For example, with my books, everything comes to me, the full amount. I can go and sell my books at a reading. I can go be invited to go read a portion of my book and sell books afterwards, and everything will come to me. With traditional publishing, they will get your books stocked in certain places, and you'll get a portion of what you make from each copy.
Yeah.
So the difference is, what do you want to get out of it? And also, is your work relatable to a lot of people? You can submit manuscripts all year to traditional publishers and get rejected because they want you to write in a specific way.
Yeah.
And they will ask you to censor your work in specific ways. They'll say, we don't like what you're talking about in this chapter. Are you willing to change it? So if you're willing to work on it and then be commercial, then it's fine. But then if you want to have full control over your work and over your voice and what you're saying, then I would say self-publishing is the way to go.
And I want to come back to you, Michelle. Do you know how many copies did you sell out of this book?
It's 900.
900 plus?
No.
It's
901,000, I think.
901,000. That's a big number. That's a big number.
I think $1,000.
Yeah, and I thank Mom because it shows that Mom is accountable and she's transparent with the books. Because if you said 2 or 3, I was like, Mommy, but so it shows that Mommy is really doing her job.
Plus or minus.
Please use the mic, Mommy.
Yeah, it's plus or minus 900 in the space of 6 months.
Okay.
Wow, that's a
and
good number.
And then the money? Do you know where the money goes to? You don't know.
She's happy to write the book.
It goes to her account. After expenditure has been out, the profit go to her account.
Okay.
Interesting. And so if you wanted to perhaps add on some of the pros and cons to maybe can consider, because I think having to write a book and then someone saying, or can you take out a chapter? I ain't the authenticity, the DNA, the whole point behind for someone to come and dilute it into something ailing or it looks good. I guess, don't you think it affects, the quality of the work?
Of course it does, because it goes back to what I say, that the entire publishing system rates back to back in apartheid. Now there's a mandate. It's not by incident for them to say, this is how we want the material to be. You can't say this, you say this. Or let you go yourself. Now, trying to add on what you said about self-publishing. Here's the thing. There's a difference between self-publishing and vanity publishing.
Okay.
Vanity publishing, I don't want to quote names, but vanity publishing is that in which you sell, let me say, these UK publishing companies advertising themselves. If you send your work, what they do is they look at the book, let me say, in a day's time, they get back to you and say, hey, we're going to give you this publishing package. Now, that is vanity publishing. They don't look at the material economic position of the book, whether it's commercial viable or not. So you end up spending 25,000 and not even sell one copy of your book. So self-publishing is different. It works almost like traditional publishing because they consider the quality of your work and if your work is commercially viable enough. So you need to be a little careful. Don't just quickly run when you see celebrities there or whatever the issue is. You quickly run and spend your money because now you'll be screwed. The next thing, your book is not selling and you have to blame the company, and it's their job.
The damage is done.
They make money.
And let's go to my brother. A question or comment about today's topic, because it's a Valanje.
Okay, I have a question. Since today's world, we're dealing with technology. So I want to know whether, like, how does it affect you? Because now we have ebook on the internet and there's a physical copy that you sell. So I want to know, because for me, I prefer buying a book on ebook because it saves data and it saves a lot of money, because even if I can go to a hard copy, it will cost me a lot of money. So I want to know which one is the best and how does it affect you as a publisher?
That's a really important question. One of the authors that I've published, his name is Shandu, and he's in South Korea right now. So a lot of the people who are buying his book can't access a physical copy because they're that side. So only the people that are in South Africa can get a physical copy of this book. But others can get the ebook. So how it works is that we upload the ebooks onto Amazon. But with Amazon, you earn royalties. So you earn royalties off of your work. You can earn 35% or 70% depending on the package. So ebooks are available, and for a lot of people, getting a book on Kindle is a lot more convenient than getting a physical copy. So
interesting. Ronadi, a comment or question from this side? Anyone? Anyone? Yes. Can we just pass on the mic, please?
Isn't that right? It seems like a lot of young people don't read books, right?
Are you one of them? Are you speaking from experience or asking for a friend?
No. So, like, how can you encourage young people to read books?
There used to be this saying that if you want to hide something from a black person, you put it in a book. But I don't think that's true anymore. We read. It's just stories were not being told about us. And I feel that as black people, we need to be telling our stories on our terms. And now that we've come to a point where we are realizing that people are writing, then we also need to come to the party and start reading. Because I can't be reading about something that I can't relate to, and at the same time can't expect someone to come and support me if I'm not writing my truth. So I think we're writing, so read. You know, it's a two-way process.
Yeah, it's a give and take.
Yeah, it's a give and take.
Anything about that to me, in the Amanyama authors as Palela, you know, you'll find they always say this, like about even the music industry, good bomb rapper, we just bomb rapper, but the public is like, we don't even know that. Okay, Michelle, can you just send a shout out to your friends or anybody who's your follower,
your
bought a book, fans, mommy? Okay, mommy's here, daddy, anyone? Who do you want to say hi to? You're on TV right now. Go ahead, say something nice.
I want to say hello to my friends, my fans, and my followers.
Okay.
Do you have a Facebook or Twitter handle where people can actually follow you?
I have a Twitter account, Michelle_N23, and also a Facebook page, Michelle Nkamankeng. And I have a website, www.michellenkamankeng.com.
Okay, I'm having a child. It's official. I want a Michelle. No, I've made up my mind. Thank you so much, Michelle, and I wish you all the best. Okay, thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
A foundation.
Oh, you are?
Tell us once everything is done.
And you must come back, ne?
Give you everything.
You must come back. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Mommy, thank you so much for your time, and thanks to you at home for joining us. Hoping it was really informative. You've learned a lot. A publisher and author.
Siyabonga kakhulu Thetha yabuya njalo ngomsombuluko ushawu lesine 11 kuzokuya ushawu 12. Thank you siyabonga.
Bye bye.